Hello there, welcome back. Today I'm doing a beautiful disaster. Now, I haven't done one of these for a while, so what a beautiful disaster is basically is a film that was a bomb on release. It was a notorious bomb. Nobody liked it. And some of them have been rediscovered later and some of them haven't. I mean, I've covered Blade Runner on the thing, both films which were hated at the time and they're thought was classics. This one is Land of the Lost, which was hated at the time, was a massive bomb and is still not thought of well. I mean, I'm basically defending a film that's not viewed with much affection by most folk. But that's okay, because I saw it in the cinema, I loved it. It was right up my alley, and I'm happy to defend it, so I'll keep defending it. I have no problem defending it. So I've recently rewatched it, so we're in the coronavirus isolation thing, so you start to think of what films have I not watched for a while that are a lot of fun. And this one came up and I was like, yeah, I'm watching this. So it's based on the old 60s series Land of the Lost, which I've never seen. I don't care about it. I'm never going to watch it. I just watched it because I'm a big Will Ferrell fan. I mean, Ferrell's been up and down in his career. He's had some really funny films like Anchorman. Most Adam McKay stuff. There's lots of really even flawed, funny films he does. I'm a big fan of his, even some of the weaker stuff. But he has done some direct as well. I mean, sometimes, because it's a comedy, sometimes a film just doesn't work. And a lot of good comedians can't save certain films. There's other films that just work. This was a film that was viewed as one of the ones that did not work. It was a big budget film. And I think it came just after Step Brothers, I think. And so it came between like some Adam McKay films that did well, but this was the one that was like a massive bomb in between. But I thought it was delightful. It's knowingly absurd and knowingly daft, and it's a parody of the adventure action movie. There was lots of films in this time, like The Mummy Returns, that had come out like a few years before. All these adventure things were rip-offs of Indiana Jones. And there was always these same conventions repeating. In this film, like, you're going to foreign land, you've got an expert in mythology, and they're going to defeat the mastermind through some ancient ritual or something, and there's going to be some monsters. So I mean, this thing was taken from the Mummy. It's something the Mummy was a rip-off. You also had stuff like Incredibles, which took that kind of setup and did its own thing with it. An animation, and this one was just an absurd version of it, where the joke is the lead guy played by Will Ferrell is an idiot. He's a doctor, but he gets everything wrong. If he says something, it's going to turn out to be wrong. It's like everything he does is wrong, and it's taken from an absurd TV show. So it doesn't have to follow science, so it's much more about the idea of taking these weird ideas and have someone claim authority over them, over something that's already absurd, and then seeing that even there he's wrong because he's trying to put logic into something that's not logical. But it's very knowing and it's very affectionate towards a lot of trashy sci-fi. So even though it's parodying some of the more recent films at the time, which were using a lot of CGI, this one had some CGI, but had some monsters that were people in like makeup suits and stuff, and actual practical suits as well, and they were made to look absurdly old-fashioned because it's based on an old TV show. So it had like an affection for the 60s sci-fi and its aesthetic. So there was some T-Rex as well, dinosaurs. They weren't trying to be like Jurassic Park, where there were, try to be realistic and have a realistic background. Here you had a planet with 3 moons, you had deserts that were very, very bright and full of just very yellow. You had forests which had trees everywhere, unnaturally everywhere, and all the trees were very kind of stylized, so they weren't exactly normal trees. You had mountains that were stylized. You had everything. Everything was very stylized and very old-fashioned, like someone had taken nature and production designed it to the nth degree, which was funny. It would just create this feeling of this old-fashioned retro world. And to be honest, this style, I love this style way more than I love the complete stupidity you get with the Jurassic World movies now, which take plots that are dumber than this film and take them seriously and have over realistic dinosaurs. It's like, nah, give me Land of the Lost any day. It's knowingly stupid. So you know it's a comedy because it's written, it's produced under Will Ferrell and Adam McKay's company, and it's directed by Brad Silberling, who did a bunch of films that are completely useless. He did the Lemon Snicket's movie, which was kind of fun, but the rest of his career couldn't care less. He did Cast with a Friendly Ghost, which wasn't very good. But this was his cult bomb, and you feel you get a lot of influence by Will Ferrell, and they hired Will Ferrell as the lead, and they Danny McBride as a sidekick. Anna Field was the other sidekick, so she was a serious one, and Will Ferrell and Danny McBride played the arrogant men who didn't have a clue. Well, one of them knew he didn't have a clue, another one didn't know he didn't have a clue, and she was the straight man basically. You had this creature that befriended them, played by John Martaron from Lonely Island, who can't speak English to start with, but he starts to understand what he's saying pretty soon, and he can communicate because Anna Field has studied some weird language before, and suddenly, over 2 scenes, she can suddenly know exactly what he's saying, which is a joke that it's a really funny joke about the idea of how people can suddenly understand each other in any of these films. This one takes it to the extreme. Like, it goes from nothing to even the idiot knowing what he's saying after a few scenes. It's pretty funny, just the whole sense of such a humour about the idea of some of these conventions, like the sudden ability to know a new foreign language within 2 days. That happens in all the films, but no one ever sends it up. And this film doesn't laugh at the screen sending it up. It's just like it just starts like they don't know anything, and then but 2 scenes later they're getting into the more elaborate jokes. And the other joke is that Will Ferrell's character keeps calling himself Doctor to this creature who doesn't understand the word Doctor, and he's really pompous to this character even though he shouldn't be, because this character keeps him alive through most of the film. There's lots of weird jokes about that. There's also Will Ferrell's character gets into basically a rivalry with a T-Rex, because he says a T-Rex is the brain of a nut, basically, and the T-Rex takes offence at that and starts a vendetta. So you've got a vendetta between the T-Rex and Will Ferrell's character, and the dinosaur even wraps the nut in a leave and drop set where Will Ferrell's cave is at some point, just to show he understands exactly how he was insulted. Like, this was not going anywhere. This was like, this T-Rex hates him and he's going to get him for it. So there's lots of fun stuff like that. Plus, Will Ferrell character does stupid stuff like covers himself in dinosaur urine so his scent can get covered while they're travelling. But what it means is they all smell the scent and suddenly are coming for him. You know, just absurd stuff. There's jokes about blood-sucking creatures, and it all comes back to Will Ferrell's character being an idiot and not realising it, and constantly being wrong and constantly getting his comeuppance. Now that could be repetitive, but there's a lot of imagination in how it's written, how it's played. Like, there's a lot of joy in the film, like the absurdity of this world they're in. They're in a world that makes no sense, in a kind of adventure world, and now they're acting a game for this absurdity that they know they're playing stuff like time warps and a lot of 60s still science that doesn't make any sense, but they're playing it straight. And the world's been built to be very imaginative and weird, and you know, so it's wonderful to watch all these weird creatures interacting with the lead characters. You have these landscapes of a desert where you have like a flying saucer, a bridge, like one great bridge, a ship in the background, a theme park in the background, and they're running around and chased by dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs are having gags and stuff. It's really absurd and weird. The whole film is weird, and the Will Ferrell's character has an eating disorder, And he also has a thing for show tunes, which creates really weird sequences where he has to do show tune dances, and there's all sorts of just strange things. And the villain has his lair, which is lots of diamonds all over the place. That's very 60s. The whole thing is just so 60s, but so affectionate towards the era that they're mocking. I mean, in some ways, it's very much like the 60s Batman, where the people and making it around the joke about the world and the situation, and there's a lot of humour about it, but the plot keeps moving forward anyway. But it's just a joy of this weird fantasy world. It's really silly, and the whole thing's silly. And there's a lot of adult humour involved. I mean, it's a 15 certificate in Britain, which means that a lot of people who might have liked the visual design can't see it when they were kids because some of the humour's kind of adult. Which is a problem for them selling the film, but it actually adds this other delightful layer to the film. It's just inappropriate where most other films wouldn't be. Like, Danny McBride's character is completely sex obsessed. So's the little caveman character that they befriend. And Anna Fields has to deal with a lot of weird behaviour by these males who have no filter. And because she plays it straight all the time, it's funny because she plays it with a northern woman from the UK. She doesn't put with her nonsense, and it's funny because they just can't get any reaction from her. So it's a nice combination of different actors put in there, and they know what they're doing. And you've got like just Will Ferrell being really absurd and really stupid in the film. His character is so self-important and so wrong. There's always these gags setting up the idea like we're the first person here, the first person to ever come here, and they turn a corner and there's these human skeletons from the 40s and things like that, so obviously they're not. There's jokes like that all through the film, just setting up the seriousness of anything you can do in this world. It's like they're always going to be undercut somewhere. So this is a delightful, weird bomb that I highly recommend you at least try, because it is, if you hit the right wavelength for it, you'll really enjoy it. And you'll know within the first 10 minutes whether it's for you or not. I mean, there's some jokes early, if you don't think they're funny, you're not going to like the film. It's one of those things that's just like, it's knowingly absurd and knowingly daft, and you're either going to get it or you're not going to get it. There's no in between this one. It's a Marmite movie. Love it or hate it, it's that kind of movie. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope some of you go watch it, because it's worth it, especially in these depressing times. This might be a nice silly film to watch to take your mind off it for a couple of hours. So I'll see you later, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Right, bye for now.